between those two kind of different drivers, would there come a point maybe when ETH would flip in Bitcoin? Like perhaps, but Bitcoin is the biggest, best known crypto. It's the first, it's got that brand name advantage, the first mover advantage. And like I said, it's now expanding its use cases. For instance, I had Gabby Dizon on my show, and I was asking him about how the price in SLP maybe had kind of gone way up and then had pretty much crashed. And he said, well, it's just going to be a problem in all of these systems where what happens is once a game or a coin gets some traction, then you get all these speculators and they kind of drive up the price, and it's not necessarily organic.
Ethereum will flip Bitcoin, or Bitcoin will continually be the top dog in everything?
Oh, wow. That's a good question. On a long enough time scale, I could actually see Ethereum flipping Bitcoin. Then again, I could also see that it may not happen. and so let me just explain what I mean by that. Bitcoin, has a particular use case, which is digital gold. The network was built for payments, but the payments aspect hasn't taken off yet so far. However, in 2021, we did start to see glimmers of that, right? With El Salvador and then kind of the Lightning Network. And now we have seen that the Lightning Network is getting even more adoption by big companies and everything. So we could actually see now Bitcoin having kind of like two use cases that are popular, right? Digital gold and then payments. But at the moment, I would say it's really only proven itself in digital gold, and like the payments thing is sort of in the works at the moment. And Ethereum, on the other hand, has many, many use cases, right? It's like for DeFi, for NFTs, for DAOs, just before it was ICOs, but that's not really a thing anymore. But it's just like the diversity of things you can do on Ethereum is just like greater. And so, for instance, when Mark Cuban was on my show, he was saying that he felt that in the future, people would kind of like need Ethereum more than they would need Bitcoin. And so if they're using it for many more things, then they would like be more likely to just have it on hand. So that was why he thought that it would probably end up being bigger. And then I realized, before the show, we were talking about how like I'm going to probably do some kind of NFT drop for my book. And I was saying that my company actually owns a little bit of ETH and Solana. And the company had bought the ETH before to obtain all the .eth domain names associated with me or my brand, right? Like unchained.eth or glorioushin.eth or whatever. And so I had to buy it for just a practical reason, right? But then because I was going to do the NFTs, I was glad that I had some left over. Again, a different use for that ETH. And then, as we were talking about, I was wondering, I'm not sure if I will do Solana NFTs, but obviously NFTs on Ethereum are very expensive. So just in anticipation of maybe trying to do NFTs that were cheaper, I did, again, buy some Solana. And so it's just like, does my business need to hold digital gold? It doesn't, but did it kind of need to secure my .eth domain names? Yes, because I have a lot of imposters that try to scam people. And whatever. So in that regard, I could see kind of Mark Cuban's point that a lot of people might just buy it because they're going to use it. Between those two kind of different drivers, would there come a point maybe when ETH would flip in Bitcoin? Like perhaps, but Bitcoin is the biggest, best known crypto. It's the first, it's got that brand name advantage, the first mover advantage. And like I said, it's now expanding its use cases. So, and I even saw a tweet this morning from Jake Brookman of CoinFund, and he was like, DeFi and Bitcoin is kind of the most overlooked contrarian play, or I forget the exact language he used, but there are people that are working on that too. So we could see it expand to a third. And so if that happens, then who knows what's going to happen between this competition about the flippening. And I don't even know if it's a competition. I think it's something people watch but I don't think like ETH people are like trying to flip in Bitcoin. You know, if it happens, it happens. I don't know, maybe they would have a different perspective, but I don't actively hear them like talking about it or anything like that. The only thing that I do hear them talking about is, you know, which one is sound money in a competitive way, because now after Ethereum changed its monetary policy, I think a lot of Ethereum people are saying that they believe now ETH will be sound money. So that'll be interesting to watch too.
You nailed it right in the head, because one of my concerns before for Ethereum was that unlimited supply. There's just a lot going around, but after the London hard fork, it made it somehow deflationary as well. It gave it that at some point in time, that because there may be a lot of ETH that's burned, it may become lesser and lesser and will threaten Bitcoin in terms of people buy Bitcoin for its scarcity. And while you were talking, I was trying to think about, yeah, I really don't touch my Bitcoin, but my ETH, it moves around, and it has become like in a way normal for you to transact, move, and just looking at stable coins that are ERC20, it allows you to see the value also of how Ethereum would be as well. So I'm still kind of in the fence after every time I hear Michael Saylor, oh, it's gonna be Bitcoin, it's gonna be Bitcoin. Every time I hear Ralph Paul, oh, it's gonna be Ethereum, it's gonna be Ethereum. So it's kind of tough. It's kind of a toss up of that as well.
But see, this is my point. I feel like it's going to be both, right? Like they've both established themselves in their niches. So I don't see that one of them will take the other out. I just don't. I think they're both established just like in different spots, you know? It's sort of like the FANG thing, you know, you don't expect like Apple to overtake Amazon, and you don't expect Amazon to overtake Apple. They just have like different niches. So I don't, that's just my opinion. I think it's borne out by the facts. You know, they just have like different uses, and people gravitate to them for different reasons. And they use them for different things. So that's why I think it'll be both. I
love what you said earlier about Bitcoin, the brand attached to it. Unlike the stock market, we don't have an index for cryptocurrencies. It's just Bitcoin. When people talk about the market is down, they just look at Bitcoin, and it somehow carries the whole sentiment also to the entire crypto space. And I think that's what transcends it. It's like the Coca-Cola, the Disney, the Starbucks in the entire crypto space.
Yeah, pretty much. It has that brand recognition.
There was this entire DeFi push at the end of 2020, at some point 2021. Somehow the narrative of it's not talked about as much anymore. Are you still excited about anything that could possibly happen in this space, regardless if it's AMMs, lending, or just purely having the ability to be able to swap something on a decentralized manner? So
I'm going to take your question in a slightly different direction. So a couple of things. So first of all, I am definitely still excited about DeFi, and I think a lot of people are. I think maybe there isn't as much discussion about it just because the gas fees are so high that it's prohibitively expensive for anybody who isn't like a whale to take advantage of the different offerings without basically paying more in fees than they would earn from it, right? That's why DeFi and Polygon has taken off. And you will see the average transaction size or the median transaction size on Polygon is much lower than it is on Ethereum when it comes to DeFi transactions. So I think that just goes to show you there is a market if they can bring the fees down, right? But what really interests me, frankly, is, we are seeing that there's these new kind of institutional offerings in DeFi, right? Where there's KYC on those DeFi offerings. And it's for, these different institutional entities to be able to participate. And we have seen that the regulators are making noise that they want to see that kind of thing in DeFi, right? At the moment, I'm not going to be able to pull up all the different regulations, but we've seen things like with the different travel rule, like the FATF, and we've seen in the US, there have been noises made about like self-hosted wallets and transactions with those. And there's just a lot of indication from the regulators that they would like to see this be more of a KYC'd world. And since the DeFi world is showing that it is possible with the institutional DeFi offerings, I just wonder how that's going to affect the regulators' position and frankly, how that will change DeFi. And so that's actually kind of the more interesting story to me to watch, to be like, whoa, because it's going to be a big change. And, we know that SEC is really looking carefully at the DeFi space. And, I have a feeling that a lot of people are just wondering what's going to happen. I think they're investigating. There's no indication yet of what exactly they will do, but I know a lot of people are probably wondering what it is that they will do. Yeah, I basically wonder what's going to come out of the SEC taking a close look at the space, and then frankly, how that will affect regulation. And then, like I said, this development in DeFi itself, where there are now offerings that are KYC'd. I just wonder, is the space basically inviting regulation on itself by saying, yeah, we can do this and we will, or maybe the regulators will force them to. So I don't know, that's kind of what I think about.
But that's interesting, because the institutions coming in will bring a ton of, I think, liquidity and a new set of money into this space that was never there. And I think it will allow other people to have more access into this, that trust institutions more.
But I think those institutional offerings are like walled off, because all the participants have to be KYC'd in order for them to interact with each other, transact with each other. Like you can't, they're not on like the normal Aave, or do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're not on the normal compound, because it's like they need to know who their counterparty is at all times. So it's like its own little offering.
Got it. Any final words to people who are watching this, Southeast Asia, that are a bit skeptical still of cryptocurrencies, blockchain, metaverse, NFTs? Any words of encouragement to them, or at least from your perspective, something that you want to impart to all of them?
To skeptics, I would say that, of course, there are a lot of bad things happening in crypto, just like there is anywhere else. But if you just look at the arc of history, you're not going to look at it and have your takeaway be that technology isn't going to further develop, and that now that we have this technology, it's going to stop and wither on the vine. I think pretty much, if you look at the history of technology, your takeaway is going to be, oh, here it's starting off in this way where it seems kind of janky and like not super interesting, or whatever it is that their criticism is. But, give it like a few years or a decade or whatever, and pretty soon you're going to be using it, like I grew up, with like landline phones. Like I would talk to my friends on a phone that was corded up, and, and I, didn't grow up with IM or anything like that, and now do I use these technologies all the time? I do. I wake up, the first thing I do, I'm checking my iMessages, my WhatsApp, my Signal, my email, and like this has been a shift in my own lifetime. So yeah, if people think crypto is not going anywhere or whatever, like all I have to say to you is just take a look at the changes in your own lifetime. And I think you'll realize like, oh, maybe I need to rethink this.
I think people need to look at it in a way that it's technology, that it's not just like the stock market where you just buy it goes up and down, but it's a piece of technology that people have the possibility right here, right now, to get a piece of it. And that's what makes me super excited about it, because from my perspective, it's like at the time when oil was discovered, or people started flying using planes, or people started to do things for the first time, and we get to have a piece of that as well. So Laura, Shin, it's an honor to have you guys. Please subscribe to Laura's channel, Unchained. I'll put the links in the description. Her podcast. She also has a new book. For sure, you'll get more from her and her channel than what I could ever give you. So follow her, subscribe to her, and lastly, your book. And anything that you want to say to people about the book as well?
Just said there is so much news in the book. So if you're interested in this stuff, you should definitely read it. There is a lot of stuff that hasn't been known before that I was able to uncover. And if you're a true crypto nerd and geek, the footnotes in the back are really cool. I have like links to different blockchain transactions. So you'll see like on Etherscan, or on some of them were in Bitcoin. So you'll see like on Bitcoin block explorers, I was able to pull up like all the social media links. There's just a lot of cool stuff in there. Plus I'm telling you, you guys, your mind is going to be blown because there is a lot of stuff that I was able to uncover that was not previously known before. So definitely read it.
Got it. I'm excited. I think I'll get the hard copy and plus the electronic version just to be able to click the links that are that are part of it. So
Yes.
so for those who want to know more, I'll put everything in the description below for you guys to be able to take part of it. Lara, it's an honor to have you. I hope to everyone who's watching this that you got something from this, that this is something that gave you a perspective. Also, as we flipped the tables on Laura Shin, that she was able to get, we were able to get a piece of her mind, her thoughts, where normally she's the one asking questions. So to everyone, I hope this video helps you trade well, trade strong, trade smart. See you all again soon, and God bless you all.